and welcome back to The Give and Go. I'm your coach, Reynoso, here with my boy,
Soltero. What's up, guys?
Folks, this weekend was a jam-packed weekend with so much happening in the world of football. It's basically opening weekend, man. The first week of school, if you will, with so much action happening all across the world. But at the same time, I had a lot of action happening in my own life as I hosted our 10-year high school reunion. Folks, have you ever been to your 10-year high school reunion? Let me know in the comments down below. I had the honor and the privilege of hosting it myself, so I had to get to work, meaning that I missed out on a lot of matches. So I'm going to be looking at you for some updates on what happened. But honestly, dude, what did you think about the party?
Dude, it was so fun. Seriously, guys, if you are thinking about going to your 10-year and you're a little hesitant about it, just go. It's so much fun. You get to see a lot of old faces. But what made ours really special was Reynoso is just a master host, y'all. But y'all know that. He's the host of one of the best podcasts in the world, The Give and Go. So it just makes sense that those hosting abilities translate over to parties, man, because it was a vibe, bro. It was a vibe.
About 100 people pulled up, 60 of those being our own classmates. Yeah. The vibes were incredible, man. The drinks were going. The food and tamales were going. Everything was hitting. We were up till 2, 3 a.m. It was a great, great time. Yeah. But my soccer coverage did suffer. It did suffer.
No, it's okay, because let's just talk, man. But we're back.
We're back.
Isn't that crazy?
Season's back.
A month after the Copa America final, the Euro final, we are back. Club football is here. And, dude, one thing I just want to get out right now, I'm watching Prem this year, baby. I'm watching a lot of Premier League. So Give and Go fans and new fans as well, just know there's going to be a lot of Premier League podcast content specifically this year. And of course, we're not going to ignore our other leagues across the world. But dude, the Premier League's got me really excited this year. And we started off on Friday with the opener, bro. Manchester United in Old Trafford hosting Fulham, bro. You catch any of it? Anything a little bit?
All I caught this weekend was like Instagram clips of the most important moments. So I saw the most important moment. But do you want to get there? Why don't you lead us in?
Well, what's crazy is that it was 0-0 up until the 80th minute. And the last 0-0 against Fulham for Manchester United was in 1924.
What?
100 years ago, on the exact date, by the way, we were almost 100 years away from getting the same 0-0 result that we got 100 years ago.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's not right, dude.
Yeah, there's almost always goals when United play Fulham. It's just a given. But it was 0-0 going into the 80th minute. But Joshua Zirkzee, the Dutchman, one of the new signings for Manchester United this summer, gets a really good goal. United end up winning the game 1-0, but overall, this is actually a really good performance for United. If I can be critical, they should have won 2-3-0. Just straight up. Fulham had a couple of chances throughout the game, but honestly, outside of the first 20 minutes, United dominated Fulham. Fulham realistically had no chance of winning this match.
What did you see, before I get to United, what did you see from Fulham in comparison to what we had from this Fulham side last year? Did you see a notable difference between? I saw up top they started somebody that wasn't Raúl Jiménez. They started a different player up top.
Yeah, Rodrigo. Muniz.
Yeah. And then outside of that, I mean, you still got Anthony Robinson playing. And
Robinson
some
was
other
there.
Notable players, but how's Fulham looking, bro? Let's be honest.
Let's talk.
Because this might be the only time we talk about him, bro.
It low key, dude. Low key might, because I don't think Fulham's gonna have a good season.
We talking 15?
There's
16?
Low key, it might be a relegation, but I don't think it would be that bad, because obviously they do have some Premier League ready players that have been with Fulham for the last several seasons. But there is a massive hole in the midfield that has not been replaced, and that hole was once filled by João Palhinha.
Dude. Yeah.
And they look lost without him. There's an energy that is completely missing in that midfield, and they're going to have to really work through these next several matches. It might take them 5, it might take them 7, it might take them 10 games to really figure out what their new identity is going to be, because for the last 2 seasons, it was Palhinha dominating box to box.
100%.
No matter who had the ball, Palhinha was guiding his men, or he was getting on the ball to try and retrieve it back. And then once Fulham did get it back, they had the weapons to really attack. But 2 years ago, last year, they couldn't replace Mitrovic, right? He goes to Saudi Arabia. They realistically have not replaced him. And now Now going into this season, they're now missing their best central midfielder in Joao Palhinha. Those are two massive holes that they have yet to really replace. Fulham are just getting weaker and weaker. And you look at the signings that they made this summer. I need to talk to Fulham's scouting team.
What you gonna say to him?
Because, bro, it's a piss job what they did this summer. You know, so Emil Smith Rowe, the Arsenal product.
Yes.
They spent $40 million on him. $40 million. That has to be one of the worst pieces of business in Premier League history.
And that's just for the name, I think.
I think so.
That's just the name.
And that's why it's so bad. You're literally spending $40 million just because of Emil Smith Rowe was attached to Arsenal, but he's never been an established starter at any professional level, man. Zirkzee, and we'll get to him, he cost $40 million. But that makes sense because he popped off in Italy last year for Bologna. Emil Smith Rowe has realistically not done much with his career, and Fulham spent $40 million on him.
40 quid on him. I'm not looking too good then. Above or under 16th place?
Oh, God.
Thinking about the...
Let's do this after I watch all Premier League teams.
Yeah.
I need to see where everyone's at, but right now, I would say it's going to be around 15. You know, maybe plus or minus 2 positions, but it's not looking good for Fulham. But you know who would have immediately, I'm not saying directly replaced Palhinha, but you know who would have helped out a lot if they had signed Richard Rios.
Oh, yeah.
He would have been the perfect replacement. Maybe not the one that could go on to replace Palhinha perfectly, but Rios, I thought, had an amazing Copa America. He was a big reason why Colombia even got to the final, which, you know, first final in 20 years, and he's got an energy to him. He's relentless, sprinting for 90 minutes, but not only that, you get him on the ball and he'll go at teams. He's good on both ends, and Fulham just haven't done anything in the transfer window, and it's very, very disappointing when all they realistically got was Emil Smith Rowe, an unestablished player.
I'm a little pissed, man. Honestly, looking at a lot of transfers that I've seen so far in the transfer window, these teams are blowing 20, 30, 40 million on players I don't think are worth that, but then also not really looking deep into some squads or finding gems that I believe are out there. For example, Kadioglu just went to Brighton. Fulham couldn't make that deal, bro. Or like these other teams in the print. Like, it makes sense now to me that Brighton would be the team that gets Kadioglu after that Euros performance, but no other team in the print was competing for him, bro.
Yeah.
It surprises me so much, and I think that represents kind of where the transfer market is right now. These names are going for a really high price, dude, and ultimately, I don't know if I see Emil Smith Rowe having that big of an impact for Fulham throughout this entire season, because I agree, he's unproven, and you're asking a lot out of him, putting that $40 million price tag, bro, right off the bat.
Max, he's worth 15.
Damn.
15 million. Maybe 20 because of inflation. I'd be okay with a 20 million price tag.
Dumb.
But that's half. That's half of what they should have paid, right? So it's bad. He had an average game, right? I don't want to be too critical just yet, but I'm just saying the pressure because of the price tag is going to be immense on Emil Smith Rowe. And the fact that Fulham are going to need him to perform at a high level every game, I think is just going to make it worse.
Man United, how are they looking? Ten Hawks United?
Ten Hogs United, bro. Have you been looking at the hype around United going into this season?
Every year, though.
Does it?
Every year that happens.
Okay.
That part is tough to differentiate because they always do spend money in the summer.
Yeah.
It's just the decision making behind those signings. But I will say, I really like what I've seen from them in the transfer window, dude.
Yeah, me too.
I really do.
Me too. Mazraoui getting from Bayern Munich, that is a great get. He immediately comes into the starting lineup. He had a pretty good game, a little quiet, but no mistakes, and that's a really good thing. He'll just get more and more confident offensively. That's going to be really good for United from an attacking fullback position. And then Lenny Yoro is injured right now, but that's prospective. He's really young. I'm really curious to see the type of center back he ends up being. I like that, though. I like that United are getting different types of players. But then the biggest one, man, Zirkzee. Again, he popped off for Bologna last year. I honestly didn't expect United to go for a player like this, but he's Dutch. Ten Hag is Dutch. I think it can work, but I think for Zirkzee to have a really good season, Ten Hag's got to let this man loose.
Okay.
Because Zirkzee's all craft. He's pure cheek, man. Pure cheek. He's got a little bit of filth. He's really good in really tight spaces off the pass. He's such a cheeky player. But I'm curious to see if Ten Hag likes that type of player because, it didn't work out with Jadon Sancho, right? And Sancho is a guy that just needs to be let go. He needs to be let free. Ten Hag's a tactician. So I'm really curious to see if Zirkzee can fully thrive under Ten Hag. But it didn't matter on the day because it was Zirkzee who ended up getting the goal. Already a good signing, already a good move to bring him on. I expect Zirkzee to begin starting for this team, especially since Haaland is out with an injury right now, and United don't have any other forwards, bro.
No, not really, dude. Anthony has been sent to the bench, relegated there. Anthony Martial, I think, isn't even with the team anymore. He's been let go. Zirkzee gets his goal, and it's a beautiful moment. Scoring on your debut is one of the best things in football, dude, and it was just nice to see him do that in front of the Old Trafford crowd. But then what I also like is the potential rumors that they have with Matthias de Ligt, also potentially coming, building that backline partnership once again with Lisandro Martinez and then Mazraoui. It's almost the entire Ajax backline that was there in 2018. It's crazy. And then also I'm hearing rumors of Ugarte potentially wanting to go over to Manchester United to kind of take on that Casemiro role as Casemiro continues to get older. Although I heard, did Casemiro have a good game?
He had a great game.
Yeah, I heard people are left confused. People can't decide if he's washed or if he's good because he keeps being like bipolar with it. He has great games and then some really bad ones.
No, he was fantastic. He looked like vintage Real Madrid Casemiro. He was literally everywhere, not just defensively. Like he was taking shots from outside the box. He was getting very forward. It was honestly great to see.
Damn.
So if they can get performances like that out of Casemiro game in, game out, United's going to be a force to reckon with this season. I think it'll be easier for United to have a good season because, they had historically their worst season ever last year. But I do like what I saw in this game because they dominated Fulham, like fully. There was no doubt that they were the better team. But, and I'm curious to see how this shapes out over the next couple months, they don't have clinical players. Like, Rashford has proven to just not be that guy.
Yeah, he's too up and down.
He's too up and down, bro. Yeah. Like, I think his cap is somewhere in that 10 to 12 goal margin. Like, he had that one really good season, but he's not been able to repeat it, man. And he had several chances today. I don't want to say wide open, but they were chances that you should finish if you're a good striker. Didn't finish them, man. No. And it's just disappointing because I think that is Rashford's level. He's wasteful. And then you look at Rasmus Hjulmand. He was all right, lad. He wasn't that good.
I'm not with him.
He's going to have a huge season this year. It's either him or Zirkzee completely takes over, which I'd be completely fine with because, honestly, I rate Zirkzee a lot higher than I rate Rasmus. So
Same.
This is a really big opportunity for Hjulmand to have a good season, but he's going to have to step up, bro.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to have to step up, and I don't know if he's got it in him, but we'll find out. We'll find out.
I'll tell you now, I don't think he does.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And low-key, I might be a Hojman hater. I might. But I don't think he's ever really, truly had it. Coming from Atalanta, where I think he scored 9 goals in the league season. And that was it. And I think he cost more than Zirkzee, too, when they got him. Never fully bought into I want to say Hjulmand. I never fully bought into Hojlund, right?
Hojlund. Yeah. Oh, my bad. It's Hojlund.
I'm like, something doesn't sound right.
That's my bad, yeah.
Yeah, Hojlund. I never fully bought into him. But I have bought into Alejandro Garnacho. So it's disappointing to see highlights pop up on my feed when I'm trying to keep up with soccer and organize a high school reunion to see him miss and not have that clinicality, bro.
That's my point.
That miss was crazy.
It was really bad.
It's bad, bro.
It was really bad.
Come on, dude. If that was a tight game, if they hadn't had that lead, imagine, dude, that would have been atrocious. He would have been on every newspaper headline. Garnacho miss seals yet another disappointing Manchester United season. But luckily they were up and the game was done. But still, dude, you gotta find a way to capitalize on those opportunities, Garnacho, especially him, because I think he of all players needs to figure out how to get consistent with it because his highs are incredible, such as scoring a Puskas type goal, bicycle kick last year and having incredible moments with dribbling and finishing, but then other moments where he just looks wasteful or he has bad decision making. Like, I think he can achieve so much as a winger. I just need to be way more consistent, bro. So it goes to your point.
Exactly. And that's why ultimately when you look at the top of the table, teams like Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, they just have difference makers that show up way more often than any player United has at the moment. That's why I don't want to get on this hype train full on because, yes, United look like they're playing really good football, and I do think they'll continue this form that they're in right now, but they're just going to have to rely on being clinical, and there are going to be games where it's just not going to happen for them.
Yeah, that's why I see them as a team that is fully competing for 4th or 5th.
Agreed.
which is improvement. But that's why I'm also not that optimistic or that high because, I mean, they're still not going to compete for the league, in my opinion.
No.
At least not yet.
Nah, not yet.
I need to see a little bit more, but we're going to see it because it's early in the season.
Yeah,
early in the season. What else did you catch?
All right, yeah. Going to the next game, man. Saturday morning, early, bright and early, 6:30 a.m. Central Time. I was in Ipswich, bro. Catching your beautiful Liverpool, man. And first off, before I even get to the game, man, seeing the scenes in Ipswich, one of the most British things I've ever fucking seen. It was so British. It was the way the stadium looks. It looks like it's a barn. It looks like the stadium's made out of aluminum, man. It's crazy. It's one of the cheapest looking stadiums I've ever seen at the highest level of football, and that's a compliment, by the way.
You're saying that.
I'm saying that like
beautifully, like artistically.
Wow. Like it was so cool to see, and that's what you get in the best thing in the world in the Premier League, man. You get scenes like you saw at Ipswich, and you see in the stands, you see Ed Sheeran, who's apparently also supporting them jersey-wise because he's got that plus-minus integral derivative tour going on. And it's crazy just seeing him in the stands, seeing all these Ipswich. Like, I bet getting an Ipswich ticket was the hardest thing to get in Britain that weekend because I don't even know how many people it can hold, but it cannot be that much.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But either way, the scenes were incredible. And I started thinking about Ipswich just as a club. 2 years ago, they were starting their season in League One. They were playing against, I don't even know, Wigan. To start their season. Fast forward just 2 years. And they are now opening their season, not against Wigan, against Liverpool, one of the best clubs in all of world football, bro.
The best club.
It's crazy. It's a crazy rise in such a short span. It's beautiful. It's the Premier League. It's English football at its finest. It's the beauty of promotion and relegation, and I think England just does it the best. When you look at the pyramid that they have, it's the most structurally sound. Loki might have the most culture when you look at each division, and to see Ipswich make it this far, and to see the performance that they put in the first half, it's fucking amazing.
They played. They came to play,
bro.
Shout out to them.
Shout out. The first 45 minutes, I think the energy that the fans were giving them and the adrenaline that every single player had for Ipswich, it actually worked because they completely canceled out anything Liverpool threw at them. And not only did they cancel out Liverpool's attack, I'm not going to say they created definite chances, but they got a couple half chances on the board. They were making Liverpool work. Wes Burns, I thought, had a great performance in that first half, just going up and down that right wing. Omari Hutchinson, the English Jamaican who just got permanently bought by Ipswich from Chelsea, he had a really good performance in that first half. But just all around, Ipswich's midfield was constantly working, constantly running. They look great, bro. They look great in that first 45 minutes. And then Liverpool showed up in the second half. They showed up, completely dominated it. You saw Ipswich's naivety, their inexperience fully came through. And it was Mohamed Salah, man, who got on the board.
Mohamed Salah on the board with a goal and also an assist, I believe.
Yeah.
Having himself another vintage Mo Salah game. With that goal, he becomes the all-time Premier League goal scorer, I believe, on opening day.
History.
Scoring or assisting in every single match he's ever played in that's opened the Premier League. I think 9 straight years now.
9.
Doing something like that. It's crazy. It's crazy. So it's just nuts because he's washed and he's doing all that at the same time. But I think it represents the level of Mohamed Salah. And then also Diogo Jota starting up top and just being a gunslinger, man. A shotgun of a forward and just finishing those opportunities off. If we can get a healthy Diogo Jota, that is a big conversation to be had because just watching this team from the highlights that I saw, if we have Diogo Jota firing on all cylinders, Salah feeding him, I like that. I like that chemistry. I like that dynamic that we have. And then Cody Gakpo coming in, subbing on, or Luis Diaz doing his magic on the wings. Darwin Nunez, if he gets some minutes, by the grace of God, I think we got a good offensive system. But to me, it truly comes down to health with this Liverpool offensive line because as it showed in the Ipswich game, even when it gets really, really tight for Liverpool, they still do have the class and quality to break the game in half and take the lead. And plus that defense looked really, really good too. So let's remember, for as good of a first half as Ipswich had, props to them. Liverpool had to show out the way they did and get these 3 points because they had no reason, no business dropping 3 points today.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could tell in the first 5 minutes of the second half,
They locked in.
They're like, all right, boys, we let Ipswich have their moment.
And it was beautiful.
Let's kill them. And they basically did. Like, Ipswich just could not handle Liverpool for the entirety of that second half. But it was brilliant to see. I want to see more Liverpool, obviously. Not just because I hope that they can contend for the title, but I want to see what Arne Slot as a manager has to give for this team, man. Because realistically, this just wasn't a test, right? You really consider it. Ipswich gave everything, but Liverpool just didn't get tested ultimately. So I want to see Liverpool, and I want to see Slot specifically, be under a little bit of pressure, you know, and that might not happen until they face a really, really good team. But I just want to know, like, what is that bar going to be? Is it going to be a mid-table team that breaks Slot, or is it going to be, you know, a Manchester City Arsenal team that ultimately breaks them? But that's time will tell type of idea there. But Liverpool looked really good in that second half, man.
Yeah, off to a good start. 3 points. I'll take it. Very happy with how we started the game. What else did you see on Saturday?
Arsenal
against
Wolves. And this one, let's just, you know, I'll just go immediately to the conclusions here. Wolves got outplayed. Like, they didn't show up realistically. They worked hard, but Arsenal, much like United did against Fulham, they dominated probably 75 minutes of this game. There was a 15-minute spell in the second half. Arsenal were already up 1-0 through a Kai Havertz goal, where Wolves got into the game finally. It took them an hour to figure out Arsenal and to actually go at them. And in those 15 minutes, it was really interesting because they were getting close to an equalizer. And I wonder if they had gotten that equalizer, what Arsenal, how they would have reacted. But it never came. There were some really good saves from David Raya. Really good saves, actually. And there were some really good stops from probably the best center back pairing right now in the Premier League with Saliba and Gabriel. They really showed up defensively. Once they stopped those chances from Wolves, Arsenal took back over, and Bukayo Saka scored a banger.
Calafiori didn't get minutes?
The debut of Calafiori is still yet to be seen, man.
Thank God. I don't want to miss that. I don't want to miss that.
Yeah.
All right.
He was on the bench, though.
Good.
You know, he was on the bench. I do wonder, like, what is...
Does he get in, dude?
That's the thing, bro. Like, and we talked about it a little bit, but what is Calafiori's role going to be for Arsenal? I don't know. I don't even know if Arteta knows.
He's going to model the new kits every year. That's what he's going to do. And they'll be happy with it.
They'll be happy. Hey, that's a good use of, what, $30 million? That'd be a good use, bro.
Double your expenses right there. But no, I do wonder. I wonder what role. Is he going to take over Gabriel's spot? Because Saliba ain't going nowhere.
Saliba's
There's
going nowhere,
no way.
bro.
Or are you going to slot him into like a back three? Or is it a fullback type situation where he's just versatile like that?
Yeah. Either way, though, when you look at Arsenal's squad, they've only improved, right? You get Calafiori, but also Timbers coming back from injury because he didn't play. He didn't play all last year. That first game, he got a terrible injury. So Arsenal's backline is stacked. It's completely stacked. You also consider the fact that they had the best defense already last year. It's only gotten stronger, and I think it's actually gotten more versatile now because Timber and Calafiori, they're very mobile type of defenders. You can put them in a center back or you can put them in a fullback position. And we already know Calafiori's ability on the ball. I think Arsenal have just gotten stronger. But who else looked really good on the day? Odegaard, bro.
Good.
He looked insane.
Good.
He looked ridiculous. He was already one of the best players last year. He looked like he hasn't missed a beat.
Good.
The exact same, but honestly, he's getting really good at getting the ball back. He might be one of the best attacking mids who also has a really good work rate defensively, because when he loses the ball, he's immediately running. He's immediately telling his wingers to join him on the press. And that's so rare for a creative midfielder to have that type of work rate in the midfield. And that's got to be Arteta telling him to do that, and it's got to be Odegaard being able to implement it, man. It's a great relationship that he has with his teammates, that he has with Arteta. Arsenal looked insane, bro. They looked really good.
But look, the pressure's on Odegaard this year then in that way, because if Arsenal wants any chance at sniffing that title, Odegaard's got to have the best year of his career that he's been building up to. Because if you look at his age, I think he's 25, 26. He is entering his prime now. This young man who was one of the youngest debutants, I believe, at the time to play for Real Madrid, went to Sociedad, played in the Netherlands, I believe, for a while, and then made his way to Arsenal to finally start building his career. His moment has arrived, in my opinion, where finally that pressure is real. It's no longer about potential anymore. Odegaard has to show out. He has the tools, as you said, but I think it it shows, he is irreplaceable for Arsenal, dude.
Yeah.
His role is one of one, and he's Arteta's guy in that creative midfield role. Guys, be kind to him because we cannot do an Odegaard injury this year. But I agree, if he is healthy and if he plays to that level, he will be one of the biggest reasons for why Arsenal can compete for the title this year.
Yeah, and just to make it clear right here, Arsenal are winning the Prem this year.
They're not winning the Premier League.
They're winning the Premier League this year.
It'll be one of the reasons that they end in second. Which will be so beautiful, bro. It'll be amazing. I can't believe it. It's such an incredible achievement, dude.
This is gonna be so fun.
Let's have a fun year.
But I like the pressure aspect because I think that's why they'll win the Prem. Is that Odegaard has been building up to it, and I think he's ready. I think Arteta's ready. I also think Saka's ready. Saka's also been building up to being the best winger in the Premier League. He showed up brilliantly on the day. A really good assist and an absolute banger he scored. So the players that Arsenal have had over the last 3 seasons, I think they're not done. They're still very hungry, and I think they're going to get that final meal at the end of the season, bro, and lift that Prem trophy. I just want to put it out there. Soltero's going Arsenal this season, man, and I'm so excited, man.
Okay.
I'm so
I'll talk more when I see the games. I need to see the games. I'll talk more because I got a lot to say about that.
Man.
But I'm going to hold off on that. What other game did you catch beyond this one?
I'd say probably my favorite game of the weekend, Aston Villa against West Ham.
Okay, good.
This game was crazy, bro.
I saw the first half.
This game was wild,
I saw the first half, so I can talk first half football.
Yeah.
I can't go beyond that.
It was just so end-to-end. Mohamed Kudus looked possessed at times. Aston Villa, Morgan Rogers was just dribbling.
This Rogers
non-stop at West Ham's defense. West Ham utilized a lot of their new signings, right? No Edson Alvarez, right? Because he's injured. So who comes in? Well, a guy that we're very familiar with, Guido Rodriguez. Can't believe it, bro.
Did they play at America at the same time at once?
Oh, shit.
I had that question while watching. I didn't find it out. I was too captivated by the game. But
I'm going to say no.
Did they play at America at the same time? Because that'd be crazy if they're both there and now they're here at West Ham, basically playing the same position.
And it's going to be really interesting when Alvarez comes back because I wonder who Lopetegui's going to go with. Because Guido looked fine. I mean, he could honestly play with any club and just fit in. Guido's that type of guy in the defensive mid position. But they got Kilman from Wolves, great center back. He looked fine. Michael Antonio just doing his usual shtick. But Aston Villa, man.
5 minutes.
Aston Villa, bro.
Actually, it was like 2 minutes.
Yeah. Quick. And I had brought this up when we talked about transfers. Aston Villa splashed the cash this summer, man. And it was both of their signings who really came up clutch in this game. First off, in the first goal, Andre Onana getting big.
Amadou.
Is that Amadou?
Amadou. Andre's the goalkeeper.
My bad. Okay, my bad. Sorry. I was thinking.
Onana.
Onana. Amadou Onana getting big in the box. Douglas Luiz ain't doing that, bro. That's why this is an upgrade. Yeah. Send Luiz to Juventus. It's no problem because you get Onana in the midfield instead, and he dunks it.
Yeah.
It's an alley-oop, and he puts it in so powerfully. Aston Villa go up 1-0, and they look great, but then West Ham for like 40 minutes then just took over. It was crazy to see. I was a little scared because this is what Aston Villa did at the end of the season last year. They just kind of let go in games. We saw it against Olympiacos. They just crashed out disastrously. And they kind of did it here. West Ham get back into the game. Matty Cash with a really rash challenge, honestly. And Cash got cooked. Cash got cooked by Kudus the entire match. Not honestly, that's going to be a really interesting point for Villa is that position because I don't know if Matty Cash has it.
Bro, I was looking at the lineup and I was surprised to see that their starting lineup, with everybody healthy, ideally, is Matty Cash. Is he still that guy in 2024?
Right.
I don't think he is, man.
You consider the other signing I want to mention, Jan Maatsen, right? One of my favorite players in the Champions League last year. He's a left back.
He's left. Damn it.
So I'm wondering if Emery can try and maybe play with the idea of maybe moving Lucas Digne from that left back position, put him in the right, Cash on the bench, and you start Maatsen on the left because it was Maatsen who got a brilliant setup touch to set up the player who eventually fed John Duran, who got the game-winning goal, bro. And Jan Maatsen had an immediate impact. Onana had an immediate impact. This is what I'm talking about for Aston Villa. And you look at this game as a whole, this was a massive 3 points gotten for Villa because realistically, West Ham could have won this game. They had so many chances, but they were dealt with very well. Martinez Emi Martinez had a great game in between the sticks. Defensively, they were also really good, but this game could have gone the other way against Aston Villa. But instead, they start the season perfectly. They get the win. This is massive. And I love to see it because this is why I love to see it because when you spend money, you need to win games, bro.
Yep.
You take the risk to spend a lot of money knowing you're going to be in the Champions League, knowing you had the best finish ever last year for your club in 4th place. You spend the money hoping you can run it back, hoping you can do the same exact thing, maybe even do better this season. You got to win this type of match where it's really close, where it's end to end, but you spend more money, you got to win the game, and they did. So this season is going to be crazy for Villa, man. I think this is going to be a crazy season. Seeing them in the Champions League is going to be nuts for the fans, for the players, for Unai Emery. But this is going to be a really likable team, man, because they are so dynamic when they get going. And they have some really fun players to watch. Like Aston Villa, I'm going to be watching a lot of their games this season, man.
They're really interesting. UCL Villa is a new type of team. They've been building to this ever since they sold Grealish for $100 million. This has been the project in place since then. And as I mentioned for Manchester United, I have them going in 4th or 5th. For Villa, it's 5th and anywhere above that. They could end up in 2nd. They could end up in 4th. I really don't know with this team because of the transfers and the decisions they made in the offseason. I think we're really positive. We've highlighted that already. But the way they're playing, the fact that they got that result, because I saw that they were tied 1-1 going into halftime. I was like, interested to see how this ends. I got back to planning my high school reunion and doing all that shit. But I checked my phone. I see Villa gets the result. It was that very simple feeling of just being like, Villa's the better team on paper. They got the result. They had to do it. They had to get it done, and they did. Given the context now, it sounds like it got a little muddy there.
Oh, dude.
But it had to, bro. It had to. They had to find a way to get the result. And a team like Villa of the past wouldn't have done that. But what we've seen these past 12 months with Unai Emery at the helm, he's changed the mindset of this team, and he's honestly reinforced them now to where I think we're going to see more results like this, where it gets really tight for them, and they pull it out. So I think it's 5 minimum for Villa, and if they can get to 4th or 3rd and have some good momentum, they could sneak into that 2nd spot, or who knows? Maybe we got title contention on the line.
That'd be so fun, man.
Maybe.
Even if Villa could contend for just the first half of the season, if they're just right underneath or right in first place for 19 games, that would be a dream. And what I love about this start is the last 3 seasons winless in their opening match. So this is actually a big turn of events for them. Also, they were on the road.
Yeah.
They were on the road. Yeah. So the fact that they got the win, I do see it as a massive achievement to start the season. Let's keep this wave going, man. I want to ride this as long and as hard as we can if you're going for Aston Villa, because I think there's a lot to like about this team, bro.
What do you think is the difference between a team like Villa and Man United? Because I already know Man United fans are going to be coming at me with, how do you see Villa having a better season than them overall? The reason is I think there's a clear cap, a clear limitation on Man United. Because most of their starting 11, I'd say like 7 or 8 players are still the same. Whereas Aston Villa, we could see a completely different team, I think, halfway through the season. Once they reintegrate all these players they just got, their ceiling is very, very high to me. They might not achieve it, though. They might not. They might end up in 5th place, like Manchester United, in that Manchester United range, for example. But I just think there's a potential here because of the trajectory they've been on. United just had their worst season ever. Villa opposite. Qualifying for the Champions League is a big thing for them. I think that's why I had them as potentially having a better ceiling going into the season.
No, I'm with you, man. Right now and going into the season, I rate Villa as a better team than Manchester United. But it's because of what you basically just said. Villa are on a really good positive trajectory right now. United have just been, kind of stagnant lately. Yes, they did get good signings, but I think United have to put in a lot more work to get on a similar level as Villa, whereas Villa have just been rising and rising and rising. And right now, they haven't stopped. So it'll be really fun to see Villa just keep going. And maybe their ceiling gets shown this season, but right now I think Villa have better attackers. I think their defense is also pretty decent. I think United's defense is also good, but as I said before when I analyzed their game against Fulham, United's offense is suspect. It just is. They don't have clinical attackers. You look at Villa's attacking players versus United, you're picking Villa's players every day of the week. The only player I'm scared of for United is Bruno Fernandes. That's it, but he's a creator. You need him feeding these players, but the player that he feeds half the time don't finish. Whereas for Villa, they get a really crucial goal against West Ham. It was a brilliant finish from Duran, and he came off the bench. Yeah. And Ollie Watkins is the starting striker. So I just think Villa have way more going for them offensively.
You see the Chelsea City game?
Yes, sir.
How'd that game look?
This was an interesting game, man, because Chelsea, right? I just want to see what they're up to, how they look with their new coach Enzo Maresca.
Yep.
City got off to their usual start, bro.
Defending champs got off to the usual start. You show your fucking respect, all right?
They got to their usual start, bro, where they just they have all the ball. They crunch it up in the final third, and they find the gaps. And it was Erling Haaland who squeezed in between the two center backs, gets the ball, shoves off Cucurella, and gets a really nice goal to open the season, bro.
Crazy, man. You could show me this result and ask me from what year this is, and I could say 2024 or 2021.
Yeah.
Same thing. Same thing for both teams, honestly. Not surprised. Sounds like I didn't miss much in that sense, like same old City type approach here. But I also heard that Cucurella got cooked by Haaland, which actually I think references the Cucurella song or something like that.
I will say Cucurella, he tried to get physical with Haaland, right? To stop him from scoring, you got to do what you have to do it. Yeah. And Haaland's just bigger.
Yeah.
So he just got the best of him, but it's not like Haaland cooked him. Okay. I'm not going to say he cooked Cucurella. Okay. I'm not going to go that far.
Okay, but the song says that Haaland's scared of Cucurella.
Right.
So that probably isn't true.
And so that's definitely not true because Cucurella got bodied. He got bodied big time.
That's all I saw highlight-wise was that moment. So what a summer Cucurella has had, but I think it clearly has come to an end now. And
defensively, because I will say,
real thing. No, I'm just saying he's not with Spain no more. This is a different type of attitude, different type of vibe now. This Chelsea team and the role he has to play, dude.
No. Cucurella actually looked great.
I know.
Outside of that one defensive moment that actually the center back made the mistake.
For sure.
So it was Cucurella just trying to recover from a different person's mistake. So that's why I'm not being harsh on Cucurella, because he actually had a perfect game outside of that.
You don't think he's having fun, though? What do you? No, he ain't having fun at Chelsea.
I disagree. I think Maresca knows Cucurella, and I think he saw the summer that he had, because Cucurella actually looked way better than he did last year. So what I'm saying is, expect Spain Cucurella this year. Yeah. So he's here. He's here, and he has not gone away.
It'd be nice if other people join them, though.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Nice. I think the attitude would be nice. He's not going to be singing songs with Chelsea, bro. That's what I'm getting at. Even if he's playing great, he's not going to make a good song regarding Chelsea time because the team is miserable right now, man.
Let's look at what's bad about Chelsea, because what is really bad about them, it's their front line, bro. They have nothing, dude. Nicholas Jackson is just... He's just not a striker at the end of the day. I mean, he is by label, right?
Yeah.
but he just can't finish, man. He should have scored. He should have scored, actually, against City. It would have made it 1-1. And at that point, Chelsea actually had a lot of the ball. There was like a 20, 30-minute spell where Chelsea were dominating possession and City were purely reacting. So the scoring line probably makes it look like Chelsea were back to their usual ways. But honestly, Chelsea had a great game.
But they always do against Manchester City, though.
That's
they
true.
Always play up to their level.
Yeah.
So I'm going to still make that assumption is all I'm saying.
No, yeah. But
I do want to see them more. I do.
Yeah. But I think for Chelsea, so there's Nicholas Jackson can't score. And Cuckoo, he needs space to run into, bro. He needs to go to the Bundesliga. He needs to run into space. He's not going to get that with this Chelsea side. And Cuckoo's useless on this team. Damn. And it's very disappointing. Raheem Sterling didn't even get called up to the team today, which was very strange to see as well. So you don't even have that. And then, Mudryk, I don't even know if he was on the bench. Chelsea just don't have clinical offensive players. What did shine for Chelsea, though, on the day was their midfield. Enzo Fernandez, great game. Romeo Lavia, who was injured for most of the season,
actually played.
Great game.
That's crazy.
Moises Caicedo, good game. I'm not going to say great game, but he was good. All three of them are such good defensive midfielders, man. And that's why they dominated for large portions of this game, because when City would try to build through them, it would get cut out because those Chelsea midfielders were really physical, man. They low-key might have, if this works out for Chelsea this year, they'll have one of the better physical midfields in the entire league. So that's the promising thing about Chelsea, is that I think Maresca realizes what he has, and I think he can actually get the best out of this midfield. Where it's going to come short for them, though, is going to be offensively, because the only player who can do it is Cole Palmer, but he was quiet.
He played?
He played.
So what was the front line of Nkunku,
Jackson, and Palmer?
That's weird, though.
Yeah.
I don't like that front line.
That's the thing. Palmer needs somebody to work with.
Low-key get Sterling on there, man.
You need to get Sterling on there, or just get somebody else, man, because Palmer can do it, but for the entire season, no, there's just absolutely no way. That's why Chelsea has a clear limitation, and it's in their front line. Midfield-wise, though, They look great, bro. They truly look good, and I'm excited to see this Chelsea midfield specifically if they can all stay healthy.
I'm not going to talk about City.
Well, what's crazy is that there's nothing really to talk about because it was just a rinse and repeat for the 4-time in a row champions.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking for, dude. It's simple.
That's why I'm not surprised that they won, because at the end of the day, they're the better team.
Yeah.
Like, Chelsea played great, and honestly, Chelsea should have gotten something out of this if they just had better players, but they don't, right? They don't. So what ends up happening, well, City beat you. Right. Yeah. And that's what's going to happen to 95% of the teams in the Premier League. You can try. You can compete up to City's level, but they're always going to have better players than you over the course of 90 minutes. Mateo Kovacic against his old team.
Got a goal.
Got a great goal. It was a great goal, honestly, against the run of play, because Chelsea were just attacking. But Kovacic gets a really nice look at goal outside the box, bangs it home, bro.
Did Savio play?
Savinho, he did. He was good. He was really, really good. Want to see more of him, obviously, but he looked very, very good. Doku looked his usual self, getting on the ball, immediately just going one-on-one against his defender. He looked fantastic. So, yeah, I mean, Haaland also looked good. I mean, Haaland scoring once every 80 minutes.
Rodri, were they in the midfield?
De Bruyne was in there. Rodri was not. It was Rico Lewis.
Without Rodri.
I think he's injured.
All right,
I don't think
fine.
he's there.
He had a long year. That's fine. Rico Lewis will happily take over. No problem with him.
No problem with him, bro. And then it's the usual backline of Diaz, Akanji. And then Ederson actually had some very shaky moments. He had 2 very shaky moments. Got lucky on one of them, actually, because he bobbled it. Jackson scores it, but it was marginally offside. If Jackson was just more aware, he would have been onside and scored it, but a really bad bobble from Ederson, honestly.
Right. We'll sharpen that up.
We got to sharpen it up.
Appreciate you reporting that to me. I'll definitely take care of that on my side.
But outside of that, vintage City performance, would love to see a better offense play against them, because Chelsea just don't have a good attacking line.
Okay, sounds good. Chelsea goes out losing 2-0 to Manchester City. Is that it for games in the Premier League?
That's it, man. But dude, what a great start to the season. And I didn't even see teams like Brighton, for example, who apparently killed Everton.
Might have been the best team this match week, dude. It's our performance.
Exactly. So I can't wait to just keep looking at these teams, man, and see what there is to offer.